Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and place to be, it's Deb C. Bloop, Deb C. Finally, boop, Deb C. Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope y'all are having a great day. No time for small talk. I'm going to get into this now. I watched Vanderpump Rules Reunion on Wednesday. Between then and today, I've watched it at least 10 times. The reason being is because I made notes and I recorded it, and I went to put it up yesterday and it was waiting, and it would not take. So listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Whoever dressed the women for the Vanderpump Rules Reunion really needs to do it for all of the Housewives shows, because I liked everything that everybody had on. You may not like what Katie had on. I kind of liked it, and I liked it for her. Let's talk about Ariana. Ariana had the ultimate revenge dress on. Ariana came in. Ariana was ready. She had gotten a great night's sleep, which never happens for her. She was feeling great. Tom Sandoval, as Ariana had said, looked like shit. And he did. So instead of going through every single thing that happened, I'm going to break down a few things and just talk about a few things I noticed. Right off the bat, Andy started his one-on-ones with Ariana, Sandoval, and the Rat, aka Raquel the Rat. They didn't say that much. Raquel or the Rat didn't say anything. And they said more on her later, which makes me think, is this big secret that's holding up production and holding up contracts, is it coming from the Rat? In his interview, Sandoval had said that the affair started after the Abbey. So when Allie saw them at the Abbey at 1 o'clock, it started then. And it took a break for, I think, like 2 weeks. Then it started up again at Life is Beautiful. And when they were in BravoCon, they were fucking. So they were already screwing. And when Tom and Tom were on Watch What Happens Live and Schwartz was all nervous with his hand in his face, that's because Raquel was in the hotel room waiting for Sandoval. Didn't hear that on there, but I heard it. So that was what came through on that. Also, Sandoval said he felt more like Ariana's gay BFF. And Ariana was like, well, he has to make up shit like that and throw it up against the wall, see what sticks, because he's desperate. He coached me on what to say, and he coached Raquel undoubtedly on what to say so they can get their lies straight. Sandoval, throughout this whole thing, once again, he never came out and said, listen, some of this was my fault as to why this relationship went downhill. He didn't. He, of course, once again, blamed everything on Ariana. There wasn't the communication. I lost my mojo. There was no intimacy, which then Sheena was like, no, they were intimate. And Ariana was like, we were very intimate in January. Cut to Raquel in her trailer, and was she really looking like she was mad? You were really looking like the man that you're cheating with. You're the mistress. You were cheating with him. You got a face whenever it came out that he was sleeping with his life partner of 9 years. That's rich. And Ariana brought up a good point. Ariana had said that intimacy issues does not excuse everything. You either work on it or you break up. That's correct. That's what an adult does. But he did this with Kristen before. He gave the same exact reasons as to why he wouldn't break up with Kristen. He didn't want to break up with Kristen because her grandpa had died, and they had tickets for this and they had tickets for that. And, you know, there was intimacy issues. It was the same thing. It was the same thing with Kristen. It's the same thing with Ariana. And it's bullshit. Now listen, I'm going to tell you, I, right off the bat, will say I love James Kennedy. James Kennedy in this reunion is just reality gold. And the combo of him and Lala, it's just what we need. There's the vitriol, but then there's also the sarcastic, funny one-liners that I absolutely love. Now, before this reunion, we had heard that there was some physicality between two of the guys. We now know it was James and Sandoval. I don't blame James at all because, James had said something like, well, what about what this did to your friends, like us, like me? James really thought that he was good friends with Sandoval. And why wouldn't you? Because if you're really good friends with somebody, okay, then you might do something like spend a shitload of money on helping to pay for their engagement to the girl that you are going to then fuck and have an affair with later. You're going to pay that money. Why would you, if you're not big friends, pay this big money for a proposal? And Sandoval was just basically once again shitting on it. Like, we were never great friends. And we talked once a month. We were never great friends. Another thing I like to say, I like that Ariana stood up for James in that instance against LVP. But, James got up because of that, but also he had brought up the fact that he said, oh, you're an opportunist because you screwed Kristen to get on the show. Well, James was 21 years old. I mean, that was a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes when they're 21. And then James going in on him was just the absolute funniest. Some of my favorites was when he said that your band sucks dick. It does. He also called him Tweedledee and Tweedledittle Dick. We all know who the little dick is. And the best was worm with a mustache. You're a worm with a mustache. And Sandoval, his big comeback is channeling Brandy Glanville and saying, you've had the same haircut for 9 years. That's it? That's all you got? That's it? But I honestly even loved it when Andy was like telling him, you better sit down. And then James looked like he just was going to have no parts of sitting down, left to supposedly go to the bathroom, and then has to get the last word in, by calling him a pussy bitch. And I was like, oh, I absolutely love James Kennedy. Listen, you are never, ever going to be able to outdo James Kennedy on the one-liners, just ever. So don't even really try, because it's not going to happen. Also in that was, that whole situation was the heartbreak of Andy Cohen losing his cards. My cards. I honestly, that whole situation, I had to watch that several times. And if we're talking about just situations like that, from the very get-go, when Sandoval came out and Andy said, what do you have to say to the group? And he started, and then immediately Tom's like, get it together, man. This isn't the Academy Awards. And then Lala piles on, and then Ariana comes in, and then I noticed once everybody piled on him, he was able to suck those tears up real quick, and his whole demeanor changed. So that was an act. And James called him out on it. But seriously, the best part of that whole thing was when when he started to talk again, and James was like crying, but in a mocking way. I absolutely love that. And then he comes out with this bullshit. I want to thank everybody, and I appreciate everybody being there for Ariana. Isn't that rich? Because in an unaired footage, when he was over the week before, when he was over at Ariana's house, or when he was at the Rat's apartment, he was complaining about, he was saying people were there supporting her. And she was like, oh, that's really nice that she has people supporting her, because I can't be one of them because I'm an asshole and a bitch who decided to shit on our friendship. And then he was like, well, she never let me have parties, and now she's having a party. It wasn't a party. Listen, you screwed one of her best friends, so she has people over to support her in this terrible time. That's it. We did also find out from Schwartz when Sandoval told him about this. He says late August. And then the look and the reaction from Sandoval says it all. They did not get their timelines correct. Because when he says late August, he's like, late August? It's like, yeah, that's when you told me. And his face was one of like, bro, why are you saying this? Why are you saying this? Not even like, why are you saying this? Like, you're lying. But it was a look almost of like, to me, it was a look of intimidation that he was giving to Schwartz. So, and then also, if we're getting in on things that was revealed, it was revealed who started the open relationship rumor. That was Sandoval, because Sheena had said that she had heard that Sandoval was telling someone in a hot tub in April at Coachella, that we have an open relationship. He was telling that to Raquel. And who told people outside of them? Raquel. And he was like, that didn't happen. I know she didn't say that. And Ariana was like, how would you know? Right? Also, Andy touched on something that is interesting. To open up Schwartz and Sandy's, apparently Sandoval had gotten $200,000 from his mother from her retirement fund. Andy asked, did you pay that back yet? And he said, no, but I will pay it back either from this or from something else. How? How are you going to pay that back? You now have a bar/restaurant that has employees, that you have to pay the employees their paychecks. So there's that. But then also, you're touring the country because you are on this midlife crisis and you have to go out and pretend like you are just this rock and roll god that just everybody wants to see. P.S. From what I understand, some places are offering like 2 for 1, like buy one, get another one. So, but from what I understand also, those band members, you pay those band members. You got a lot of bills, bro. Where are you going to come up with this money to pay $200,000? And speaking of $200,000, they were talking about something about her sandwich shop. And they had mentioned that after that they have merchandise, and that after the scandal broke, so many people were saying they want to support them, that they launched their merch. And they made $200,000. The picture of the Toms was priceless. A big fuck you to the Toms. Enjoy. I absolutely loved that. Now, let me get on to something. And I need to say this. In the past, I had been a pretty big fan of Lisa Vanderpump. I love what she does to help dogs. But listen, I think it's time for Lisa Vanderpump to go from the show. Nobody watches the show to see LVP. It's really just her name on there. And I get it. I get that the that she gave them their start, and if it wasn't for her, this show wouldn't even be there. I get that. But Lisa Vanderpump siding with Tom Sandoval the entire time, to the point where it was almost like you're thinking, why are you so far up his ass? It was infuriating. So I was happy to see Lala and Ariana and James and Katie standing up to her. People were talking about they're disrespecting LVP, but she was kind of disrespecting them, because anytime anybody would say anything to Tom, she was just completely blindly sticking up for him. I mean, just last week when he came into her house, she was like, I'm not going to hug you because I don't feel that you should be hugged. And now she's straight up his asshole. No, why is she there? She doesn't need to be there. Let Andy do his job. That's it. I don't know what to say. It might be time for her to go. Now next week on the second part, that's when the rat's gonna come out and talk. There are some rumors. Supposedly, Raquel has been getting death threats. That's never cool. Listen, I think it's a real shitty what they did, but never should you ever take it to escalate it to violence, ever. Like, you should never, ever do that. And apparently they had contacted the FBI about it. I don't know, why would you contact the FBI? You couldn't just contact your local police? I don't know. Also, there's a rumor that the big secret that they have that will be revealed is that LVP knew this whole time what was going on. That I can see. I can honestly see that. That would not surprise me. Another thing that the big secret could be, people are saying, is that this was going on when the rat was with James. That I can absolutely see. Why would you spend all this money for somebody else's engagement if it wasn't to, like, impress her? I think they were together. I've said before, I think she was with James for clout to get on the show. That's what I think, to become bigger in the cast. That's what I think. You cannot tell me differently. So please let me know, you guys, what you thought. I cannot wait for part 2. Let me know what you guys think, what some of your theories are. Let me know if you think I was right. Let me know if you think I was wrong. And if nobody told you yet today, I love you. You are loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there, and treat everybody the way you would want to be treated. And I love you guys, and it's under 20 minutes. Bye, guys.